What is up, guys? Eric here from BVM Productions here with my last video for today. So, interestingly enough, Hamzat Chimaev actually said that there's a chance that he will defend his title at middleweight and then go up to light heavyweight. And in relation to this, they asked Ankalaev, Magomed Ankalaev, would he fight Hamzat Chimaev? And he said, yes, I don't mind. And I myself, I want to defend, fight 2 more times, and then go to heavyweight. So that's very interesting because this means that there can be a super fight between Magomed and Hamzat, possibly in the future. Now, obviously, we can't predict the future accurately, but there's a big chance, because of who Hamzat is, that he beats one of the contenders, or 2 of them, and in the time period there, Magomed beats Alex Pereira again, and possibly fights one of the contenders again, or possibly fights Hamzat there. So that's a perfect timeline. And this reminds me kind of like when Conor went to 155. Now imagine, and this is a very interesting situation because win or lose, Magomed Ankalaev at that point will be going to heavyweight. And I'll talk about both avenues for both fighters real quick here. But really, this is like perfect, like the perfect storm in my opinion. And also this will kind of sort things out for Dricus du Plessis if he ever wants to touch the belt and if he can. Yeah, very interesting actually to think about the timelines, etc. So, first off, I do believe that Hamzat Chimaev beats Imavov. He can edge out, like just barely beat the Ritter in a very hard-fought fight. Kai Barallo, I think he just takes him down, beats him on the ground. Strickland, same situation. Hernandez is a problem though. Problem because of the way he puts a pace on people, but then again he can run into submissions. Like Hamzat can take him down, put him in a submission because of the constant pressure. And yeah, so what I'm saying is I'm leaning towards Hamzat in almost every fight there. Like I really lean towards him winning. That means he would have defended. Then in that time period, Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev 2 would have happened already. By the way, guys, if I look tired, sound tired, roll my words or anything, I have a sleeping pill in. And as you can see, I'm a bit pale. I'm not feeling too well. So excuse if I say anything strange. Anyway, so in that time period, Magomed versus Pereira 2 would have happened. That means 1 defense. Then Magomed, like you said, has 1 more defense. And why not get a big paycheck versus Hamzat Chimaev at light heavyweight? Like, perfect storm. And with Magomed, let's say Pereira gets injured. That fight doesn't happen right now. Cool. Again, you can fight him the next year. It's very interesting to think about. And in that fight, I'm still picking Hamzat to win just by a very hard-fought fight. But I'm saying this thinking in my head that their sizes, their length, body weight, body density, all that kind of stuff is equal. Because Hamzat, to me, is a far better wrestler than Magomed Ankalaev. But Ankalaev is a far better striker than Hamzat Chimaev. But then again, Hamzat just fought a very competent striker and just ran over him. So, I really lean 60-40. Yeah, 60-40 ratio towards Hamzat at this point. I haven't done film study and stuff like that because obviously this is hypothetical right now. But yeah, that's my view of this. Now, to add on top of this, let's say Hamzat has moved up and he and Magomed Ankalaev is set to fight. And we already had Kai Barallo versus Imavov, Hernandez versus the Ritter. No, wait. Let me just make sure. Are those 2 fighting again? I remember the Ritter has a bout that they've been talking about. Let me just see here. Come on. Because I remember versus... just want to make sure. Here. Yeah, it's versus Hernandez. I wanted to say I'm not hallucinating here, but again, I'm tired, guys. Yeah, so that means those two would have already fought. And, well, those 4 people would have already fought. That would have just left... The guy that I, in my other video, explained is in the middle ground, where he's part of the new crew, like the new talent, and he's not part of them. And that makes me wonder, hold on, Dricus du Plessis. Let's get to the athlete rankings real quick. Just because I'm curious if Brendan Allen isn't a good fight for du Plessis. Where is DDP? Okay, he's still number 1 contender. Yeah, Brendan Allen. Dricus versus Brendan Allen can happen, or Brendan Allen versus MVP can happen in between, or MVP versus Whittaker, Strickland, or like everybody else wants, Izzy. I really think Izzy versus MVP is a better fight, like really, just for entertainment value. Brendan Allen versus Dricus, then after Nazardine versus Kai Baralo happened. Then the division actually has direction. That's the main point here. So middleweight will have direction. One of these guys will be the new, well, that's if Hamzat relinquishes the belt, because he can become double champion. However, if I was in his shoes, I would have explained to him, like, if I was in his shoes, I would like the double belt, but I would have said, meh, I already got 1 belt. There's a big chance I can regain that if I wanted to. Let it go. I want to get the light heavyweight belt. Boom. Because everybody will know he is still the champion. Same thing with Islam Makhachev. That's why when he relinquished his belt, he was just like, so what? The belt doesn't mean that much to me. It is the point of being the best. That's what matters to me. And that's why I liked it when Islam did that. A lot of other fighters would not have done that. No. So middleweight can get sorted out. And then light heavyweight can also start getting more direction, because if Hamzat beats Magomed, then so many other fights would have happened already at that point, and more contenders can climb. Johnny Walker had a great win just now, which still crazy that he beat Zhang. And then, okay, so I'm looking now, there's not a lot of talent. Reyes is doing better for himself. Wow. Light heavyweight is washed out, guys. Like, honestly. And I wonder if I actually go check. After this video, I'm going to go check how old is everybody. Anyway, let's skip on to what I want to see. Magomed at heavyweight. At heavyweight, the man's going to have such, like, win or lose. If Magomed Ankalaev is at heavyweight, he is just going crazy. Like, Rizvan Kuniev, not going to stand a chance. Walter Walker, not going to stand a chance. Taliesin Teixeira, nope. Mick Parkin, nope. Shamil the Blob Gaziev, nope. Tai Tuivasa, absolutely not. Derek Lewis, he has a puncher's chance, but really that's like 10%, 5% of the whole fight, nope. Sergey Spivak, much better fight, but nope. Marcin Tibera, nope. Waldo Cortez Acosta, nope. Jalton Almeida versus Magomed Ankalaev in a semi-wrestling battle. I'm still leaning toward Magomed if he's accommodated to heavyweight. Yeah, Curtis Blades. Nope. For some reason, Curtis Blades cracks under pressure. Sergey Pavlovich, he would do better, but nope. Volkov. Ooh, that would be such a cool kickboxing match. That would be such a good kickboxing match. That would be the biggest fight, the hardest fight for Magomed. And possibly he can lose there, but then he's just 1 fight away from the belt again. Well, 1 or 2, sorry, because Cyril Gane is there. Cyril Gane gets beat by Magomed. Magomed is quicker than him. Definitely quicker than him on the feet. And then the best fight in this division, outside of the Volkov one. Tom Aspinall versus Magomed. I'm leaning towards Tom there. However, that's if Tom can survive versus Almeida on the ground, because, again, Tom is like Dricus du Plessis. He's an all-rounder. But see, the same thing that I'm worried about for him might happen. What I was worried about for Drickus is what might happen here with Aspinall. He might be good, but he might not be that good on the ground, like absolutely elite or absolute elite at defensive wrestling. And then Magomed can take him down and beat him. Because Magomed isn't a Hamzat on the ground, but he is good. But before that happens, if Jalton Almeida doesn't get shafted by one of the contenders, i.e. if Magomed moves up and fights him, for example, instantly, and he loses to him, then Almeida versus Tom Aspinall is a possibility in the next 2 fights, which gives time for the whole situation with Magomed, Hamzat, and Alex Pereira. Ooh, I just thought about something. If Magomed loses, then a beefy fight that possibly was brewing a few years ago can actually happen. Alex Pereira versus Hamzat Chimaev can happen then. Oh, that would be such a crazy thing, unless Pereira says, I've won back my belt, I'm hanging it up. Which, that would be such a good ending to his career. But, man, there's a lot of cool fights here with this idea. Now, again, to me, this is a little bit weird because I'm not sure Hamzat will get the body weight up in time. Is he struggle to do that? What's the difference with a shorter guy in Hamzat? I'm not sure though, because Hamzat can put on weight a little bit better. He's a lot thicker as a person, so I'm not sure. Is he, even though he's a bit skinny, he put on the weight, he got to 205, but he was just a skinny fat version of himself. If Hamzat is just more hydrated, etc., and a little bit of muscle gain, then he's actually already there, because he is already a reasonably thick dude at middleweight. Alright, I'm a little bit more sold on this. Let me know what you guys think. Cheers.